Hello, everybody. Today is just a fabulous day. My name's Stu Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. And this is one of my favorite podcast groups that I get to deal with. Did you ever have that uncle at Christmas or a family holiday that always started the joke with, these three people walked into a bar and everybody dives for the carpet. They know that a really, really bad joke is about to happen. Well, you got three guys. My podcast is the Energy Newsbeat, and it's doing quite well because of Michael and my guests. But first around the corner, we have David Blackmon. He is an Forbes contributing author. He has two podcasts. It's called The Energy Transition. Got a fabulous group of co-hosts with that. And he's got The Energy Question. And I mean, it's fun. We get to produce that podcast for Sandstone Media, and I got a front seat on some of these. So welcome, David, and I appreciate you.
Hey, man, I'm really looking forward to this. This is the third podcast I've recorded today, so I've been talking a lot. I hope I don't lose my voice.
Well, you look like crap, so I guess you are tired. All right. Hey, RT, we've got Rey Trevino, and Rey is the podcast host for the Crude Truth. He is absolutely knocking it out of the park. He's one of the newest podcast members in the energy space, and he's actually done really, really well. He is head muckety-muck over there at Pecos Operating, Exploration and Production Oil Company, and we rely on him on giving us the dirt in the field, so to speak. Welcome, RT, and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys for having me on again this week. It's always fun to walk into the virtual bar with you gentlemen. And David, if this is your third episode for the day, that means you are warmed up, you are primed, and you're not gonna skip a beat or miss.
I'm out of material, man.
So I mean, I got to stay on my toes this morning. I tell you what, all right, watch out now. It is Monday morning here in the great state of Texas as we record this episode today, and for all our listeners out there, Stu giving David a hard time. I don't know who looks worse, Stu or David. So beauty is always in the eye of the beholder, as my mother says. She always said that I'm the most handsome young man she knows. So
God bless moms.
Yeah.
Yes. God bless moms is right.
You bet. Hey, today we've got an action-packed show. In your Substack, David, I was reading about the gas bags in Pakistan and the horrific story that is.
Crazy.
And you also have another story that we need to cover. What was that one that we're also going to cover?
The new report from the International Energy Agency. Holy cow. It's just unbelievable.
And then, RT, you have one on the new refinery. I believe it was Exxon that's putting into big bucks.
Yes, yeah, they're putting in a few dollars. As you like to say, Stu, on your podcast, what's a couple billion amongst friends?
You're only my two fans listening. Anyway, with that, I only have one small one, and I'd like to get rid of ethanol. But what do I know?
Hey, those voters in Iowa are very important. So do not get rid of the ethanol. Okay.
But let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and kick mine off, and then I'll shut up and drool in the corner because you guys are the ones that know something. Ethanol takes twice as much energy to make. We are in a worldwide food crisis. Why are we doing something that gives you less gas mileage? It adds almost $1 in gasoline. And then when you put biodiesel, when you don't do it correctly, and I can talk about that later. And so we're spending more energy. It's worse for the environment. It destroys cars. And we're going to need that food. We just had the USDA revealed U.S. corn harvested are critically low due to the mega drought. We need this corn to go around the world. And anybody listening to my podcast, I'm trying to use my hands to talk like I've been on RT around. You got to make sure that you don't stand anywhere near him, because when he's really upset and directing traffic. Anyway, that's my opinion. What do you guys think? That's all.
Well, if I may jump in first, the first thing that comes to my mind is a story, actually. Two things. One is that no surprise, I'm 100% Hispanic. I could argue I'm actually a second generation. My grandfather is from Mexico, and that we went on a trip there years ago to visit his family, and they asked my father, "Is it true that we feed the corn to the cows?" And my father goes, "Absolutely. It helps do this and it helps this and gives them a better taste," or, something like that. And they just mouth dropped of like, that is food. Why are you wasting food on food? So that's the first thing that comes to mind. And then the other is, if I'm correct, I think we use 10% more energy to create a gallon of gasoline with ethanol than we would without using ethanol. Yeah. So I just find that, hard to believe that we're using more energy than we need to be doing to create a gallon of gasoline. So those are the two things that really stick out of my mind, that, we don't need to be wasting this ethanol anymore. And as I said a second ago, I think it has to do with the fact that, Iowa, shout out to the great farmers and individuals in Iowa. But, right now is the time that we need to be saving that. I think it was in the Bible that we had 7 years where David told the king or something like that, "Hey, we need to save everything we got." And, I'm not saying we're at that point by any means. However, when it takes more energy to make energy using corn, I don't think that's very productive on a daily basis.
Oh, no, it's obviously not. It's, I've actually written stories about it in which I referred to corn-based ethanol as a human atrocity for these very reasons that you're talking about. We feed the world, right? The United States exports millions of tons of food every year, and we're taking a lot of those tons, millions of tons or thousands of tons, out of the food chain to make fuel with it that we don't need. It's not needed. Mm-hmm. Ethanol is fine if you need it. In Brazil, they use a lot of it to provide energy in certain parts of the country where they don't have infrastructure to transport gasoline and oil. And so it makes some sense there. Also in Brazil, they make it from sugarcane and not corn. And sugarcane, the problem with making it from corn is it's literally the worst grain you can use, the least efficient to make ethanol with, because of the encasing of the kernel of corn that humans can't digest and is worthless for the making of ethanol. And so it's all because of the Archer Daniel Midland lobby, the corporate farming lobby,
right,
that has perpetuated this. It was a horrible policy decision made by the administration of George W. Bush, unfortunately, and a Republican Congress established this mandate, and the Democrats have gone along with it and perpetuated it. And it's a policy that needs to go away. It doesn't provide any benefit to our society.
All right. All those in favor?
I
think it's unanimous.
We should be like Chris Farley when he pretended like he was Newt Gingrich many years ago. We play, go, pass. Going on the hammer. I don't know if anybody out there remembers Chris Farley. He used to be one of the best on Saturday Night Live. I think the early 90s was second only to the original cast, just because it was the original cast. So,
well, I'm sorry. When Chris Farley did the one skit that I always loved when I was working with my kids when they were growing up, and that is, careful guys, if you don't listen to what I do, I'm going to hire a motivational speaker. And when he does, and then Chris comes in there and says, start doing that, he's about, I'm, waving my
Living in a
arms
van
back
down
and
by
forth.
the river.
He goes, I live in a van down by the river.
That's a classic. That is absolutely a classic. And oh man, it was a good one. That was good. But no, we need to get some passing going on here in this Republican House. I was happy to see. Speaking of the kind of things getting passed by the House of Representatives with Democrat support was not to sell our oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to China. And that passed. So let's see if it passes through the Senate. I thought that was pretty interesting.
It won't.
Yeah, it won't even be brought up in the Senate,
No.
unfortunately. But
besides,
anyway.
the big guy needs 10% since it. All right, I'm going to leave that one alone. That'll get us.
I think any of those
UN
classified documents deal with that subject. I don't know.
Yeah, there is, but I think the UN will ban Irina and I again because they banned us one time, and that's a badge of honor. RT, since you're already interrupting the conversation and everything, why don't you go ahead with your story, and then we'll go on to David after that.
Yeah, no. It was actually this morning. I was reading on another Substack called "Thoughts About Energy and Economics" by a gentleman named Ed Ireland. David, I think you might know who he is.
Ed is a great guy.
Head of the former TCU Ralph Lowe Energy Institute there. And they were talking about basically that ExxonMobil, they are just days away from adding over another 250,000 barrels of oil to the refinery there in Beaumont. That'll be the second largest now U.S. refinery here in America, second only to there's another one here in Texas. I don't remember the name of it.
The Motiva refinery. It's owned by Saudi Arabia now.
Yeah, owned by Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And I mean, hey, they're bringing their oil to their refinery. I mean, business 101, I guess, right? Kind of cut out the middleman. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. I think this is the reason I wanted to talk about that story is because this really highlights something that we really need to continue to do as an operator, which is be bold and say when something great is happening. This has been very quiet. They have invested $2 billion in the state of Texas in Beaumont, keeping investment dollars in America, more importantly, and that this is ready to go online. So they've been working on this now for a good while, and that this is going to add somewhere around I think a total capacity refining of 600,000 barrels of oil a day. So we can get that gasoline out and get that diesel out at a faster pace, and hopefully truly somewhere down the line, gentlemen, lower the cost of our gasoline and our diesel. But I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. And let's keep in mind that they're not building a new refinery. They've just added on to a refinery that they had. There's no way that this administration will ever approve a new refinery here in America, which is really probably what we would need to really see a reduction in price. Just adding, more supply to the demand. So anyway, I just thought that was a pretty good one, but we need to be telling people, hey, as an industry, hey, here's what we're doing. We pumped money into the economy. We're also helping the economy, and we're helping the American people. And that's what ExxonMobil really needs to be out doing right now, is saying that. I would, if I had a critique for them, that would be my critique. Get your PR people and get out there and promote.
Yeah, I love ExxonMobil, but they tend to be very tight-lipped about these things. I have all kinds of relationships at that company. And when Reuters ran their story Friday about this, I began making calls and tried to get somebody to give me a comment, that I could use in a story, and couldn't get anything out of them. What it did get though from a fellow who I think knows what he's talking about is word that they finished the construction phase of this probably late November, early December. And the startup process on a huge expansion. We got to realize 250,000 barrels of oil per day expansion is bigger than most refining operations in the United States. Okay, right. So while it's not a new refinery, it is certainly the equivalent of one. And going through the startup checks and all the safety checks and system integrity checks that you have to ensure that everything's in working order, there's no leaks, it's all going to work when you bring it online, can take weeks, even months to complete. But this person I talked to indicated that they're really in the final phase of it and probably are going to be starting it up within the coming couple of weeks. So that's nice. A big deal. And, you're right. It's not going to make a huge difference in the national refining picture, but it's a new refinery basically. And that's significant. And it certainly will alleviate some of the very tight situation we had with refining capacity last year.
Yeah.
All right. Nicely done, RT. You brought up a great point. You didn't even steal it. All right. Mr. Blackmon coming around the corner. I love your Substack, by the way. Yeah. The energy absurdity of the day. You are a hoot. And that's going to be in the show notes off of this show. I get up every day and I wait by my PC to get your energy absurdity of the day so I can steal it.
Well, my absurdity for this particular day has to do with the situation in Pakistan. Yeah. The gas bags. It's really a sad story. And, no, that's Congress. It's a sad story, but it's also something to chuckle about a little bit because you have people in Pakistan now that are so desperate to have fuel to cook food with that they are very dangerously tapping into natural gas pipelines and filling these huge plastic bags with natural gas and taking these bags home to use to cook with. And, it's been caused by Europe's voracious appetite for LNG exports that used to go to Asian countries like Pakistan. It's now mostly going to Europe. Mm-hmm. And so it's created this huge shortage of natural gas supply in Pakistan and Sri Lanka and other Asian countries. And so it's almost funny in one respect, but it's really a sad story of the very severe human impacts these shortages of energy supply have in countries like that. And, it's really a desperate situation in Pakistan. Another story a couple of months ago that came out of there is they're having daily rolling blackouts that last 10 to 16 hours a day in that country. So we think we have it bad with an occasional 2 or 3 hour rolling blackout here in the United States. Just be glad you don't live over there.
I'm going to go off here. I think people like AOC and that group that, they got shut down real quick about the natural gas stoves, shutting those down. That all happened between today and last Monday, right? Where it came because we didn't talk about this last week, if I'm correct.
No, we didn't. It hadn't broken yet by then.
Right. Okay. I was just making sure. And, but again, I'll go back to my story about being in Mexico. And it's like, let AOC, let Chuck Schumer, let Gavin Newsom go to other countries that aren't Fiji or the Greek islands. Let them go to Nepal. Let them go to Pakistan. Heck, the Philippines. Let them just go to Mexico and see what the lack of energy does to a country. And that is something I think that really needs to be brought up, that's what these people want to do here in America, is make us go back to the 1800s, not even the 1900s. They want us to go back over 100 years to cart and horse and buggy because of what they think is a bad thing. When we talked about it, ad nauseam, that natural gas helps. It's helping these people cook their food. It's helping these people warm their water if their water's bad, so that they can then boil their water so that they can drink their water. So just a darn shame what these people are doing over there. And you're absolutely right, David, that it, even though it is an absurdity, and yes, but it's dangerous, and it's sad that it's like these people need help, and that they are risking their lives to cook, basically to eat right now. And this is 2023, for goodness sakes. We should not have that problem.
Nope.
So yeah, that's all I got.
Are you? That's all I got to say. David, are you awake after RT espoused?
I am. No, he's right. I agree with everything. I was just going to let you chime in. The bringing up the gas stove subject, we should have talked about that today too. It's just crazy. Yeah. You have an administration that's actually talking about banning gas stoves due to a supposed link to childhood asthma that does not exist. No one has even alleged, frankly, that it exists. The study that the bureaucrats are talking about, the RMI, the group that paid for the study, issued a statement over the weekend acknowledging that their study doesn't even try to make that link. It's insane. It's absolute insanity. And at some point, it's got to stop, because it's really creating really severe negative impacts in our society.
And that's what it's doing. It's creating negative impacts. We got to figure this out, people. And we got to know that, hey, oil and gas is not going anywhere. That when you look at it statistically, oil and natural gas, first of all, natural gas, let's just talk about that, how clean it burns, okay? How it helps us out on a daily basis in providing gas to heat homes, to cook on the stoves. And that means that you're not cutting down trees. We're not burning dung feces or any type of that for warmth, okay? We're not cutting down trees for warmth. We're not cutting down trees to cook on. We're not cutting down trees
to heat your home.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's so many things that it does, but let's sit down and talk about ways to work on things for the future if you want. But just to come out and stately blast, we need to ban this. I think it goes back to I feel like I'm not a young person anymore. I just bought a 2001 Jeep Cherokee and 4x4, one of the old square ones, right? And I'm all excited about it. And I thought about it. It's like, I had this car when I was in high school, and that was 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
And so I got great plans. I'm going to put big tires on it. It'll be great to take to the bar next time when we actually meet at a bar. And but it just shows that what happened to the days of doing your research, citing your sources, and really giving the background on the why when you make your statement. I at least try to do that when I talk. It's like, hey, here's my point, and this is why my point. And we've lost that. It is do what I say with people that have no authority and people that have no knowledge in an industry that are telling others what to do. And that really blows my mind. It just blows my mind and really gets my goat, as an old man would say. Somebody like Stu Turley would probably say something like that.
Wait till you're my age, you'll really have a goat to get. What do you think, Stu? Do you cook with gas?
Do I have gas? What?
Do you cook with gas?
Yeah, you cook with gas.
Yeah, my gas in here is wonderful. I actually love me some propane too when I'm up in my place up in Oklahoma that is zombie apocalypse proof. But here in Texas, my gas stove identifies as a microwave. So when they come in to steal it, it's feeling the need to be a microwave. So
that's a good one. I like
We've got propane at our house too. we're in the middle of the Barnett Shale, but there's no pipeline into our neighborhood, so we have to use propane. And propane's great, but folks, it is not as efficient as natural gas. So if you have a choice, you really want your stove to be on natural gas and not propane.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I've always thought about something like that if I ever create my own apocalypse now place and move next door to Stu, I always kind of thought about propane. But
well, yeah, you probably won't have a choice, but
yeah,
it's fine. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not quite as.
But given the option, the natural gas, because I've got an electric stove, and one of our house rental properties in San Antonio that we stay at got gas, and you can tell the difference. I feel like sometimes you can cook a little bit better with gas, and on a stove, and then of course, now when it comes to barbecuing and a grill, hey, ain't nothing better than charcoal, okay? But a propane gas, it's just a lot easier, okay? You're cooking a lot quicker than with the charcoal.
RT, for somebody that's 100% Hispanic, you sure talk like Texican. So,
oh man,
that's purely out of respect, RT.
I tell you what, that's I love being a Texan, and God bless Texas. And I will say this, and totally off point, but I don't agree with Eva Longoria at all. But one thing she did say that I agreed was that the border we didn't cross the border crossed us. And so part of that, I got to agree with that when you go back in history, And,
yep.
I still think it was a conspiracy between Andrew Jackson, Sam Houston, and Davy Crockett. I really think that, because when Davy Crockett was a congressman in Tennessee, Sam Houston was the governor of Tennessee.
That's right. David, what do you think? You were there.
I wasn't quite there, but it's interesting. One of my distant ancestors is Jim Bowie. He was probably involved in that conspiracy too.
I thought you looked like him. I was there.
Yeah, right.
Really? No, David Crockett was coming down to be president of his own country, man. He was excited about the opportunity.
That's what he thought he was doing. That's really a true story. That's why he came to Texas.
That's why he came. So when he said, I thought the fighting was done, he meant it. But by God, he is a Texan through and through now, isn't he, guys?
All right. Guys, I have our producer putting together my travel bag, and we are going to have it so we can go anywhere, anytime, and go do live shots. So we're going to gear it up for live. We're going to gear it up for filming in bars. Hey, if we're three podcasters walking into a bar, we might as well shuffle in and set up. So we'll be letting our fans know where we'll be and getting all that kind of done. We're running out of time. David, you got your last word, and then we'll go to RT.
Oh, my last word, keep cooking with gas, folks. It's fine. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to get asthma, okay?
Yeah. Keep cook. Well, speaking of cooking with gas, I'll do a plug for David real quick. We got Nate coming up February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
And David is going to be speaking at 9 a.m.
On the first
day. Yeah, on the
Absolutely.
1st. And in fact, word got out that David Blackmon was going to be going and speaking, that the governor of the great state of Texas was like, I will not let David Blackmon outshine me. So he'll actually be speaking on the 1st. So that Nate will be crazy on the 1st, David. And so you created that. The governor of Texas was like, I can't let David outshine me. So,
right.
So we'll have Greg Abbott there at Nape also. Yeah. Not that and I'll be there. I'll be looking at a few deals. Trying to do a few things for 2023 as Pecos Country Operating continues to operate and produce here this year. So, so yeah, I wanted to do that little plug for David, and excited to hear you speak. So if you need any
I'm
points
excited
or anything,
too.
let me know.
I haven't spoken at NAPE in about 5 years, so I was really pleased to get the invitation.
Oh, that's fabulous. And I'll tell you what, David, I am such a big fan of all your stuff, and RT, I enjoy our relationship, me calling up and going, is that a drill bit? So that you get, But hey, with that, we will have all these conversations in the show notes. Please reach out and we will have David Blackmon's Substack. We'll have my Substack in there. I had to copy so I can just put an automatic RSS feed to David's to mine. And RT will have his Substack up here within very shortly. So
yes, I'm
not only
excited.
are we the podcasters, we're the Substackers. And all right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys very much for coming by. The three podcasters walk into.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for hosting us, Stu. Y'all do a great job.
Thanks.